Hello everybody, it's Chibi, and today I'm here to bring you a manga first impressions of Wolfsmund Volume 1. Now, I want to say something real quick. I want to try to keep this video as spoiler-free as I possibly can, because if I really dive into details, I will spoil almost everything in here that's any interest at all when it comes to the plot twist, and this is a first impressions, and I don't really want to actually destroy you all probably getting into the series. So anyways, right off the bat, Wolfsmund. I picked this up around last week or a week and a half now, and I finally got around to reading it and finally got around to actually making the first impressions of it. And to my surprise, I love this series. Like, I mean, it's not really surprising actually because I bought it because the description of it, but I mean, to my surprise, I'm surprised how much I actually enjoy it. Like, I really enjoy Wolfsmund. Now, you're probably thinking like, okay, so what's it about, Chibi? What's the catch? What's the genre? Stuff like that. So, Wolfsmund pretty much takes place in the 14th century when, you know, there's castles, knights, stuff like that. And so far from what I understand from this series, from just this volume, it doesn't seem like there is any magic or any supernatural things to this series. So, all supernatural is pretty much casted aside. So, that's so far from what I know from Volume 1. But anyways, this series, pretty much the title name is actually the title to this like barrier station or this check-in station in the series. And this check-in station is pretty much like a barrier to when you have to go through like a border across the country or through a mountain pass or something. Well, when you go through this station called Wolfsmund, you get quality checked. For instance, you get checked to see if you have a right permit, you know, to be able to pass here and pass inspection and stuff like that. And there's just a lot of death. Let's put it that way. There's pretty much a lot of people dying because they try to sneak past the border, sneak past the inspections and stuff like that, and they pretty much get fucked up really bad. So that technically is what Wolfsmund is about at the moment. Like, it's people trying to start a revolution. Like, they're trying to start a revolution, get, you know, an army building and stuff, and they're trying to get information across this check-in station, but it's really fucking hard to pass this check-in station because it is just so brutal. It is a really brutal check-in station to be able to pass all these different inspections, and so clearly, the series is kind of like how people are trying to put on a face, or they're trying to lie to get across an inspection, and it's really interesting when you get to see the progression of some of the characters in this first volume, and see how they slowly try to get past these certain ordeals or inspections. And that's what the really good shining point about this series is. Now, it is medieval. It's a medieval setting. If you love medieval settings, most likely you will like this volume or this series. Now, for the most part, it's graphic. It's a very graphic series. Like, it has nudity, it has violence, it has beheadings, it has, you know, all sorts of shit going on. There's even fighting in it, sword fighting and stuff like that. So, it does have some action to it. Not mainly based on action so far from what I can see, but it's mainly about mind games, seeing how, like, someone tries to get past an inspection. And like I said, it's fucking brilliant. It's like being in the medieval days, trying to be, like, let's say, a runaway king or something, and you have to disguise yourself, and you're trying to cross a border. And you get found out, pretty much. You can probably guess what would happen. So, that's technically what kind of goes on so far. And yeah, I want to pick up more of this series, because I didn't think I would actually like it this much. And on Amazon, in the description, as I said in my previous special, Chibi special, I stated that on Amazon, it stated that this was the Game of Thrones equivalent. Like, manga Game of Thrones equivalent. And I'm like, no. There's no way in fuck. It's like Game of Thrones. Well, here's the thing. I do have to admit one thing. I do get some massive Game of Thrones vibes from this series. I'm not joking. Now, I'm not saying it's the quality of writing, because I'm waiting for it to build up, but when it comes to some of the aspects and elements used in this first volume, yeah, I definitely see why Amazon would advertise this with, like, similar to Game of Thrones, because the first chapter alone, that reminded me of Game of Thrones so fucking much. You know what? This is going to be a slight spoiler with chapter 1, just going to say right now, so I'm just warning you right now. At the beginning, right at the beginning of this volume, you see a dude get his head chopped off. Does that not remind you of Game of Thrones? Right at the beginning, the first episode, literally like right at the beginning of the first episode, head gets chopped off. That's exactly what happens here, and I'm like, what the fuck? So, yeah, artwork is pretty damn good too. I mean, if you like artwork, you'll definitely like, you know, stuff like this. That's kind of how the artwork looks, actually, the cover here. That's kind of how the artwork looks. Here's the back with the artwork. So, yeah, that's my first impressions of Wolfsmund. If you want to see more reviews, like if you want to see reviews on volumes in the future, let me know in the comments below. I love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe, and Chibi out.